Good morning, seniors. I'm kind of sad that we're doing it this way, but Mrs. Brooks sent me an email a couple weeks ago and reminded me that every year since 2014, when I became superintendent at Hamilton Heights, I read a story to the seniors. We have our own special senior here today, one of you, Ellie, who's going to listen and to the story and hear some of my stories as I tell this story. And this is a book written by Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss. Every year, this book is one of the New York Times bestseller books around graduation because it's a great graduation gift. And actually, it was a gift to me from my mom when I did some college stuff. So I'm going to read you this story, maybe tell you some stories in between. Every year, typically, I would go into your classroom. I'd read you the story. I'm going to give you kind of the toned down version because this might be on the internet, and a couple of the stories I usually tell I may not tell during this part. But you can save this forever and read it to your own kids. Oh, the places we'll go. Dr. Seuss, Theodore Geisel. There's a point to the story. Here we go. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy or gal who decide where to go. You look up and down streets, look them over with care, and some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find anyone to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. And many of you will head out of town, either to college or to a trade school or to the military, and you may never come back. One of the challenges of our community is that people graduate from high school, have the chance to do great things, get a college degree or get a great job being a welder or working someplace, making lots of money, and they move to Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, Fishers. So that's fine. I did that too. I moved to Connorsville and Rushville and Lafayette, but eventually I came back because I wanted Ellie and Nate to graduate from Hamilton Heights. It's opener out there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along. You'll start happening too. Ellie likes the pictures. Oh, the places you'll go. Get it? It's the name of the book. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. The end. I'm just kidding. Because there may be some challenges. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, and you'll be left in a lurch. Did I tell you this story might be a little sad? So if you have Kleenexes, or if you want to just push the pause button, go get some Kleenexes, something to kind of get yourself together. Now would be a good time. It also gets a little scary. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You'll come to a place where the streets are not marked, some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not. I'm afraid you will find for a mind maker-upper to make up his or her mind. You can get so confused that you'll start into race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. But sometimes waiting is good. Uncle Brian, her uncle, my brother, graduated from Purdue in 19-something with a degree in mathematics and computer science. He wanted the perfect job. He did the most unbelievably brave thing I can possibly imagine. He moved back home and lived with Grandpa Joe, my father and mother, and stayed there for 6 months while he looked for the perfect job. During that time, he became a custodian. I was a custodian at one point too. A custodian at the Boys and Girls Club in Noblesville. Being a custodian is a really hard job. Being a custodian for my dad at the Boys and Girls Club in the early 90s was really a hard job. My brother worked there. He sent out resumes. He finally got a pretty good job. He took that pretty good job and turned it into a better job. He took that job, turned it into a better job, working for a company called Dow Alonco. They turned him into a consultant. He did some consulting for a guy named Steve Hildebrand, who ended up building Conseco Fieldhouse, that guy. And then he ended up working at the State Department and eventually became Governor Mitch Daniels' Chief Information Officer. From living in my parents' house 6 months after graduation from Purdue University to being the Chief Information Officer for the state of Indiana, because he was willing to go to the waiting place and keep working hard until he got what he done. He's still somewhat obnoxious and a bit of a pain, but he's my little brother. That's part of it. Would you agree? Yes. See, Uncle Brian, I was right. For people just waiting for a train to come or a bus to come or a plane to go or mail to come or the rain to go or the phone to ring or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, waiting for their hair to grow, everyone just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a bed to break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. I'm not sure exactly what instrument this is, but I'm pretty sure somehow Nate Arrowood can play it. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy or gal. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. And I will be so proud of you. I will take credit for all your success. I would say I was that guy or gal superintendent because you're doing great things. I will also have to take credit for you if you get arrested for embezzling $1 million or running naked through the Bloomington IU campus because you're strung out on methadone. Don't do that, because we get credit for all that. Do great things, not bad things. The methadone, that stuff, that story's true. It wasn't a Hampton Heights graduate. Except, it gets a little scary again, when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win because you'll play against you. Your biggest adversary in life is you. The one person that will always tell you you can't and be right is you. If somebody else says you can't, do what you got to do to make them wrong. But if you're telling yourself you can't, that's a problem. A little scary here. Hang on. All alone, whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go. Though the weather be foul, on you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, though the hacking cracks howl. I don't know what hacking cracks are, but they're scary looking. Prepare yourself. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. Speaking of hiking, Ellie's grandfather, my stepdad, is a guy named Dr. Jim DeShiel. You can look this up. He lives in Tipton. Jim DeShiel came to Uncle Brian, my brother, and I a couple of years ago and said, hey, I'm going to hike the Appalachian Trail. Now, some of what I'm going to tell you, you might want to fact check, but the Appalachian Trail goes from Georgia to Maine. You start in March, you end in October. You hike about 3,000 miles through 13 states across this hiking path. You camp out the entire time. You bring all the food you have on your back. You carry that. Every once in a while you meet, stop and clean yourself off and go to a hotel. Grandpa Jim, Dr. DeShiel, told us he was going to do that. He was 64 years old when he told us to do that. He was somewhat obese and out of shape. We thought he was crazy. We told him, no way are you hiking the Appalachian Trail. You will die on the Appalachian Trail. We don't want you to die. Don't do it. You know what he did? He started getting his gear together. He worked out all that winter, got his act together, got a little bit in shape. We still told him he was crazy. Left in early March to go to the Appalachian Trail in Georgia to take off. About a month and a half later, Ellie, Nate, Mrs. Arrowood, my brother, his kids, his wife go to find him in Virginia. He looks horrible. He doesn't smell very good because he hadn't taken a shower in like 6 weeks. He's got this scraggly looking Uncle Si from Duck Dynasty beer. We don't think he's going to make it, and we beg him to come home. At one point, when we visited him in Virginia, he said, take me to the pharmacy because I need to get a blood pressure cuff and check on my blood pressure medicine. That did not fill me with confidence. We leave, send him off into the woods, a la Bruce Banner, Incredible Hulk, Circus 1987, look it up. And he walks off, and we think we're never going to see that guy again. The next time we come out here, we're going to have to bring the body home. We go back a month and a half later to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to find him again. He's kept walking the entire time. We find him, hose him down, feed him. The man looks like $1 million. He's lost a ton of weight. He stands up taller. He walks faster. He finally got his act together and started getting in his rhythm and walking and walking and walking. And I'd already made it to Pennsylvania. That fall, around August, not quite fall, but late summer, Jim shows up at a birthday party at our house in Cicero. I'm like, Jim, what are you doing? Well, it turns out Jim had found a friend named Gypsy Girl on the Appalachian Trail and was hiking with her. He was somewhat in love. But Jim was going too slow. She was going too fast. They broke up. He got upset, got on a bus, and came home. Mrs. Arrowood, his stepdaughter-in-law, got a hold of Jim and said, what are you doing? You get your tail end back out in the Appalachian Trail and you finish the Appalachian Trail. You're not going to stay here. You're 300 miles from finishing one of the greatest physical deeds a human can do in the North American continent, walking from Georgia to Maine on your own. Get back out there. So Jim went back out there. Now, he went to the top of the trail in Maine, hiked backwards, and ended up running into Gypsy Girl and living with her for 3 months in Australia. Different story. The point is, you need somebody in your life that inspires you to do things you may not want to do. Who is that person for you? For Jim DeShiel, it was my wife. She does that to me a lot, does it to her a lot, does it to me a lot. She told him to get off his tail end and get out there and finish the Appalachian Trail. He did. He wrote a book about it. It's really cool. It's called something about trails. It's good. And he pretty cool stuff. But you got to have somebody in your life that will do that for you. You'll get mixed up, of course. As you already know, you'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Bucksbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So, get on your way. I am incredibly proud of all of the seniors at Hamilton Heights High School. I'm amazed at how resilient you have been since around St. Patrick's Day to finish through the year. I'm proud of how hard you're continuing to work, as you know you still got to do all that stuff by May 15th to get done. We are going to try to have a graduation in August, on August 1st. I hope we can, because it's one of my favorite times of the year, because it's a celebration of your success. Our graduation ceremony at Hamilton Heights High School, because Mr. Mason makes it this way, is all about our students. Adults hardly participate at all. It's all about you. I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm incredibly proud of what you've been as a Husky and what you'll be as an adult. You are going to do great things. Congratulations. My name is Dr. Derek Arrowood. I am proud to be the superintendent of Hamilton Heights. This is Ellie Arrowood. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.